Namaskar, I am Chitra Kerkar and I am back with the second video in the series of transformation. Today we are going to talk about a story that all of us know. The story is of two woodcutters. There were two woodcutters and both of them used to cut the same type of trees with the same type of axe in the same amount of time. But then the first woodcutter used to cut much more trees compared to the second woodcutter. So the second woodcutter asked the first woodcutter that what is the secret. The first woodcutter said that secret is nothing, but every day before starting to work, he sharpened his axe without fail. So now this is the story which you and me are knowing from our childhood. We are also knowing that great Abraham Lincoln has said that if he has to cut the trees for 6 hours, he will invest first 4 hours in sharpening the axe. Now, as this particular story is known and as the wisdom in the story is known, the question is that wisdom manifested in our life? And most of the time, the answer is no. So, as we have seen in the first video, we can start using the steps to let the wisdom manifest in our life. If you remember, first step is what? First step is to hold that information into awareness. Unless and until we hold that information into awareness, the information is just lying as a burden with us. So, in this video with me, you will hold this particular information, this particular story into awareness. As you will hold this in awareness, you will understand that we are talking about transformation. So, which is our axe? Which is the instrument that needs to be sharpened, that needs to be having its strength very well? So, first question we will ask ourselves that if we want to transform our life, which is our instrument? Whatever is the instrument, then we will start accepting that particular thing that we need to sharpen that instrument every day. As we have to sharpen it every day, we need to focus that which will be our goal. What is the need to sharpen the instrument? After we have decided the goal, we have already climbed the first step. After holding that information into awareness, we have started now accepting the information in our life. That is, we have started thinking that if this story or the moral of the story has to be used in my life, what I need to do. So first thing is you will understand which is the instrument. Then you will decide which is the goal that you need to achieve by sharpening the instrument. Then you will ask yourself that what you need to do to sharpen the instrument. At the same time, you will ask how I need to do the sharpening process. So both these questions are very important, what and how. After you have understood this, it's like you have converted the information into knowledge, because now you have started applying it with your life and you are coming up with a workable plan that this particular story can be utilized in your life. And then there is a third step that we have seen is to act on this particular plan, this knowledge-based plan in your life. Without action, the wisdom in this metaphor will not be manifested in your life. So then you have to act and act on every day, because what the story tells you that you need to sharpen your axe every day. So it means that this process of sharpening the axe has to be a part of your routine. So we need to understand that how we can convert it into routine. If there are going to be obstacles, how you are going to overcome those obstacles. Otherwise, it becomes the story of yes, but. You say that yes, sharpening the axe is very important. Taking care of the instrument of transformation is very important. But, and so this but has to be resolved. And no one else will be able to help you. You only can help yourself. Now I think all of you are very smart. So by now you have understood which is the instrument for transformation. The instrument for transformation is nothing but our body. Because body is there with us for working over whatever we want to do. But the conception of body in Western approach is very, very limited. We understand the body as only the physical body, as we can see. Here, I am going to touch upon the information which is available in the ancient Indian culture, which gives you a totally different kind of view of what the body is. So let's see what that particular information. See, we are already climbing the second step. Whatever information we are having, we are trying to merge that information with the wisdom in this particular story. So which is the conception, which is a very beautiful conception which will help us to transform our life in the Indian culture. Let's hear it very carefully. The conception is nothing but the conception of Panchkosha. This particular conception for the first time is given in the Taittiriya Upanishad in the second and third chapter. So this particular conception says that the body entirely is made up of 5 koshas, 5 sheets that are covering in the entire body. The first sheet or the first kosha is the Annamaya kosha. The Annamaya kosha is nothing but the entire tangible, visible body as our normal conception of body is. The second kosha is the Pranamaya kosha. Pranamaya kosha is nothing but all the systems that work in the body. There are so many systems in the body which are working automatically. It might be the circulatory system, it might be the digestive system, it might be the immune system, it might be the nervous system. As all these systems are working very properly in our body, we feel the enthusiasm, we feel the energy rising, we feel the prana which is rising. So that is the second sheet. The third sheet is known as Manomaya, Manomaya kosha. Manomaya kosha is nothing but all the emotions, likes, dislikes, moods that all we experience in the life. That all is also happening in the body. Brain is part of the body, and whatever we understand in the body, that in the brain, that gets manifested in the body. So the third kosha is the Manomaya kosha, and the fourth is the Vijnanamaya kosha. Vijnanamaya kosha is the constant churning of the thoughts that goes on in our mind, and again it is manifested through the body. Similarly, there are certain strong beliefs which we'll say attitude or perspective of the life that are also part of the Vijnanamaya kosha. So having good attitudes, that will be also helpful. So that is the fourth kosh of our body. And the fifth kosha is the Anandamaya kosha. Many of the time we are not in touch with Anandamaya kosha because then we don't believe that such a kosh does exist. But right now, here, if you are ready to experience, you can definitely experience the presence of Anandamaya kosha. If you just start living away all the attributes that you are having, you just forget about your name, you forget about whether you are male or female, you forget your relations, you go on forgetting everything, but still something will remain with you. And that something is very common, which is in the universe. The energy which is running the universe, and that same energy is present in you. When we get in touch with that particular energy, it is nothing but the bliss. It is nothing but the constant source of energy, constant source of happiness that is flowing with it, and that is what is bliss. So this 5 koshas entirely make our body, and it is not only the physical body that we talk. So as we say, if we need to sharpen the instrument for transformation, it is we need to take care of all these 5 koshas, and we need to see to it that these 5 koshas are going to work perfectly well for us to transform our life. So let's see now what all we need to do to transform the life, that is to sharpen the instrument every day. So obviously the first sheet or the first kosha is Annamaya kosha. I need not tell you that to keep the body healthy, what all you need nutritious food, you need regular exercises, and you also need certain good healthy habits. Now what are the healthy habits? If we see healthy habits, very simple habits, brushing your teeth every day. In today's time, in this COVID-19 time, all of us has understood the importance of washing the hands. Without washing the hands, probably we were not so careful in washing the hand every time. But now we have understood that it is a very, very important habit to keep our body healthy. Now we also have to understand that as we are climbing these particular steps, we need to do this thing in a very mindful way. Why mindful way? Because everybody of us likes attention. So for our physical body also, we never give attention to our body. We never look at the body which works so nicely for us. Forget about expressing the gratitude or forget about expressing the love and kindness. We need to be very grateful to the body because we are using it. So that mindfulness attitude. So everything, whatever you are taking care of your physical body, if you do it with a mindful attitude, that would be very, very helpful. The second is the Pranamaya kosha. So if we need to tone up this Pranamaya kosha, what we will need? We will need micronutrients. My nutritionologist friend will also say to it that if the body systems, whatever body systems we have said earlier, has to work properly, then the micronutrients, that is the vitamins and minerals, all becomes very important. So supply of that particular thing is very important. Apart from that, in exercises, the exercises which are stretching exercises and breathing exercises are important. Especially for my old buddies, if you are not able to do rigorous exercise, stretching and breathing is very very important to keep all the bodily systems working very well. Because if your bodily systems are working very well, then you will feel the vitality in your body. Because by breathing you get oxygen, and the entire metabolic system that goes in your body, it requires oxygen. So doing stretching exercises and breathing exercises, you are sharpening your pranamaya kosha. And again, as we said, that there are certain set of healthy habits that need to taken care so that all the systems work very well. Here, which will be the healthy habit? Again, we will say that maintaining the sleep time on the regular basis, and probably keeping the exposure to the screen very less. Again, in today's time, it is very pertinent because all of us are sitting at home and using the screen for lot many time. So we need to restrict that particular thing, and especially we need to see that before going to the bed, at least for 1 hour, we are not in front of the screen. All this thing definitely will help to rise of prana in our life. The third sheet or the third kosha is manomaya kosha. It is nothing but, as we said, all the emotions. So obviously the goal of this particular thing, to sharpen this particular kosha, is to enhance the emotional intelligence. Now, how can we enhance the emotional intelligence? There can be various ways for enhancing the emotional intelligence. First is, as we have already said, is mindfulness. Because by being mindful about emotions, you will understand that how this emotion rise in your body. Many of the time we say that, oh, I just got angry and then I didn't understand what all go wrong. But then if we start observing that anger comes means how it comes, we become mindful about that particular thing, it will start speaking with us. So mindfulness, narrative approach, meditation, and all this thing will help you to sharpen the manomaya kosha. Then come the vijnanamaya kosha. The goal of this particular thing is to have the reality check. Having a realistic view of the situation becomes very very important. If we are having a holistic thinking, then the reality is understood very well. Many of the time we are having a particular view to look at the life, and we look at the life from that particular view only. But if we start contemplating, if we start understanding what others are feeling and thinking, and we have a holistic view of the situation, then it will help us to think in a very very right perspective. So for that, again, mindfulness, narrative approach, meditation, and if you are not able to do it on your own, you can take help of therapy, counseling to sharpen this vijnanamaya kosha. And then the fifth one, anandamaya kosha. What is the goal of the Anandamaya kosha? To sharpen it, the goal is to practice detachment. You will say, Chitra, detachment? How we can be happy or how we can sharpen something when we are getting detached? But as we said, that as the detachment comes, we get a more holistic view. We can observe some things from a very third person point of view, and we can say, so that's why we can easily advise other people, but when it comes to it, we find it very difficult. But then when we understand that Anandamaya kosha is the same universal energy, the same source of happiness is within me, and I can be steady, stable in that particular Anandamaya kosha and can be able to deal with whatever situation of the life. So practicing detachment is what we need to do to sharpen the Anandamaya kosha. What will help you to do that? Again, it is mindfulness, meditation, certain religious practices, and to an extent coaching or therapy. So all this particular thing together, if we are able to do, we are sharpening our instrument. And as we are sharpening our instrument, it will help us to do the transformation easily, in less energy and in less time. Now, as we have understood this, we need to see what will be the obstacle, what will hold you from doing this. So the obstacle is no one but you only. You will say, Chitra, what we are saying. We are understanding that transformation is necessary, and now you are telling that this is how we can do the transformation. How we only will be the obstacle? You means it is the dissonance between this five kosha. For example, see, right now as I am speaking that you need to do all this particular thing to sharpen the 5 koshas. You will say, Chitra, this is too much. I mean, I need to do exercise, I need to take nutritious diet, and I need to do meditation, and I need to go for coaching. My God, how I will do all this particular thing? See what is speaking? This is your Vijnanamay kosha, or this is your Manomay kosha only, which is not ready to accept the goal. That all this thing we need to do if we want to transform. Actually, if we accept it and we start working onto it, then we will understand that it will not require more than 1 or 1.5 hours every day from your life. And if you are investing that, remember what Abraham Lincoln has said? Using 4 hours for sharpening the axe. So if you sharpen the axe, obviously you will require very less time to transform your life. Similarly, you can take another example when you say that probably if you want to lose your weight and that's why you want to make exercise a daily part of your routine. Then you say that, oh, getting in the morning is so boring, I just don't feel like getting up. Again, you see your Manomay kosha is having problem with it. So this particular dissonance has to be resolved. Unless and until this dissonance is resolved, we will find it very difficult to make this particular sharpening routine a part of your daily habits. So for that, I am going to give you 4 types of yardsticks which you can use for all the 4 koshas, and the 5th one for the Anandamay kosha. For the body, for the Annamay kosha, you need to see whether your body is stable. Stability becomes the yardstick for the Annamay kosha. So every day, whatever might be the season that is going on, it might be summer, it might be rainy season, but your health is going to be staying the same. So whatever changes you need to do, that you need to do so that your Annamay kosha will work very nicely. So this stability is very important in case of Annamay kosha. To measure whether the processing of the sharpening of the Annamay kosha is occurring very nicely. The second is the Pranamay kosha, for that vitality, the feeling of the enthusiasm, the feeling of the rising of the energy is very important. So if we ensure that whatever we are doing, it is giving us vitality, then we are doing very well with the Pranamay kosha. For the Manomay kosha, it is nothing but clarity. Because many of the time we feel that when we are having emotions, the view of the situation or understanding of the situation is not clear. If there is anxiety, if there is anger, or if there is too much of happiness, then we start viewing the situation from one particular perspective, and it all creates confusion and nothing else. So clarity becomes very important when we are talking about Manomay kosha. And for Vijnanamay kosha, it is nothing but the wisdom. As you will start looking to the situation from various perspectives, as we'll start gaining insights and revelations, your wisdom will increase. When all these 4 things are in place and you are in touch with the universal source of knowledge, of love, that becomes the bliss. So all that 5 stages or 5 koshas work in tangent with each other. For that, one more simple tool I can give is, many of the time we feel that we want peace in our life. At the same time we want progress. And then there is dissonance, because somewhere we feel that if we have peace in our life, we will not be able to progress. Because we feel that if you want to progress, you need to take little stress, you need to exert yourself, you need to take tension. And so we want peace also in life and we want progress also in life. But then these 2 goals doesn't become synergetic, rather they start away from each other, in opposition with each other. But then we need to understand that peace plus progress is prosperity. So instead of having the goal as peace or progress, let's have the goal as prosperity. And so we will understand that balancing the peace and progress in our life is the key. And for that balancing, sharpening of all these 5 koshas on daily basis is what is going to help you. Because if you remain stable, if you remain vital, if you remain clear, if you are wisdom, and if the bliss is with you, then only you will be able to transform the life. So understanding that and then helping to manifest in your life will only help you to have the wisdom which is there in the story to be manifested in your life. If you require any help in your life, I will be your buddy in the entire journey. I am there, just an email apart from you. the email that is seen on your screen. Whatever queries or doubts or your suggestions, you can send me on that email. Once again, thank you for listening to this very carefully and attentively. And then I'll meet you soon. Thank you.